music for Egypt. Nile FM.
104.2 Nile FM. Now, my name's Rob Stevens. This is The Big Breakfast. And in the studio, I've been talking about this all morning. I'm so excited that you're actually here. He is the CEO of Somabay, and his name is Ibrahim El Missiri. Did I get that right?
Yep, that's
Yes.
it. Well done.
Result to me. So you're the CEO of Somabay, which, I mean, Somabay is an absolutely amazing destination. It's I've seen pictures of it. I've not actually been there yet, but ironically, it's actually on my list to go later on this summer when my daughter returns.
Okay.
So you are the CEO of Somabay, and I need to know more about this, please. Just tell me more about the whole thing itself.
Okay, well, Somabay basically is located on the Red Sea, so it's half an hour south of Hurghada.
Yep.
And what people don't know is it's a peninsula. So we're actually 7 kilometers offshore from mainland Egypt.
Okay.
So you drive on like this land bridge, and we've got this beautiful 14-kilometer coastline.
So it's technically like a little island just off the coast?
Yeah, it's an island. Nearly.
What?
It's only like connected. It's 1 kilometer wide connection.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so you're surrounded by the sea, nearly 360 degrees, and it's probably got the longest continuous sandy beach on the Red Sea. You know, the Red Sea is all coral.
Yes.
So there's no sandy beaches for swimming like the North Coast, but we've got that.
But
we've got,
you have.
Yep, we've got the
Wow.
beach, you know, and so we have 5.5 kilometer stretch of sandy beach, and then at the end we've got a world-class dive site. I'm a keen diver, so we've got this 500-meter jetty. You go by club car, and then you plug in on this beautiful wall, and then we have a 7-kilometer reef, which is amazing.
Do you know, it's very bizarre that they should mention the whole diving thing, because if you look to that chair there, can you see there's no one there?
Yeah.
But if you look at the telly, there's a picture of a girl there.
Okay.
That's Sarah Asfouri. And do
Okay.
you know where she is today?
Where?
In Somabay diving.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
She sent me a message last night saying, Rob, that's where I'm going. Isn't that bizarre? So yeah, she's not here today, but she's going to report back, and then we can talk about it again because
All
she's
right.
actually experienced it. So when it comes to Somabay as a destination, is that all it is, or is it multiple use? Is it the sort of place where you just go and visit and then that's it, you're done, or is there more to see every single time you go?
No, there's loads of stuff. It's basically a fully integrated destination. So it started off as basically, you know, a few hotels scattered on this peninsula. And so we've got an incredible golf course. It's a Gary Player course. So if
Ooh.
you're into golf, that's
Okay.
really something. And it's actually a championship golf course. I think it's ranked from the top 10 in Africa. Quite tough if you're a keen golfer. And we've got a beautiful marina. There's an incredible kite surfing site, which FT.com ranked from the top 5 in the world.
No way.
And it's not because of anything we've done. It's just the way the peninsula's shaped. So you've got the wind, you know, the Suez Canal corridor basically
Yeah.
is like a wind tunnel. And because
So-
we're sticking out in the middle of the sea, so that wind comes very strong, but because of the bay, you get a flat surface. And you get great kiting, basically. And
I've seen people do this. I know that the boss of Nile FM does kite surfing whenever he can, and I've seen his pictures, and it looks amazing. It's not the sort of thing I could do. So I was going to say, do you do kite surfing or golfing? I'm going to put you down for probably a golfer.
neither.
No?
I'm a diver.
No way. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I'm a dive master. So and I did a lot of work in diving, and I worked a bit in the Philippines actually before I got into engineering and then got into development. So I'm a keen diver, but kiting I'm too scared actually. I'm too old for this.
I saw a video of someone kite surfing, and they obviously got a gust of wind, and they just went up and up and up and up. And I was like, are they going to come down at some point? And they did, but wow. I mean, but I'm totally with you on the diving front. I have done diving before, and I'd never even thought about it really. But when I did do it, I was like, this is like an underwater world that hardly anybody knows about. Now, Egypt is very famous for its coral reef, as you were mentioning earlier on. So the diving, tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, basically, I think we sort of don't do it enough justice because we've got a rainforest, right, like Brazil, right? But it's underwater.
Yeah.
So we only see the desert. And actually, the cool thing in Soma is because we're so far out into sea, it's quite different. It's you've got gigantic coral. Everything's sort of oversized. These are not the kind of reef that you would see on the mainland. It's more pristine. It's more remote. Tons of turtles. We've got turtle nesting sites.
No way.
We get a visit every year around Jan-Feb from the whale sharks.
Yep.
Which are amazing. They're not scary sharks.
They're
Human-eating.
Yeah, they're not the ones that you see on the telly.
They're vegetarian, right? They eat plankton, so nobody worry. We've got osprey eagles, that go fishing. It's quite really interesting in terms of nature, and the diving is incredible. You can drift if you go on the open sea side, or you can just dive off the walls.
I think I would just come and watch everybody else do these things, because I'm not the sporty sort of person myself, but I definitely want to do the diving. This sounds absolutely amazing. Now, are you okay to stick around for a little while?
Yeah.
We were talking off air about the fact that I could say to you, you could choose a song. And immediately you came back with Guns N' Roses.
Yes.
And then I was like, but we're talking about Somabay, so we have to play
Paradise City.
Hit music for Egypt. Nile FM.
And that sounded good. That was your suggestion as well, wasn't it?
Thank you. Yes.
So Ibrahim El Missiri, the CEO of Somabay, it's almost like that song was like the description of the song, Paradise City, Somabay, kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
See, it's almost like you thought about this in advance. But I know you didn't, because I said, you can choose any song you want. You're like, Guns N' Roses. So we've been talking about Somabay itself and it as a destination itself, and then also describing it for people that haven't actually been there. But I've got a message from it's just here. It's Alia, and she says Somabay is awesome. They always have different activities as well. They have a kids camp that's happening in spring, and again a little bit later on. Excited because my daughter is going to it. So it sounds like Somabay is more than just a destination where you go and then once you're there, that's it. There's so much more to it as well. And I really need you to explain to me what is happening with Somabay.
Okay, well, basically when we started sort of to think about it, how do you create a place? It's all about placemaking. And so we started thinking about music. So we started having all sorts of different concerts. A few years back, we got the Dire Straits Experience. And unfortunately, Mark Knopfler wasn't there, but we had other members of a band, and it was really cool. So we did that for a while, and then more recently we hosted the Two Cellos, which was an incredible concert. And so that's one angle. The other angle was basically sport. And we started hosting all those different sporting events like the triathlon, the endurance festival of Tri Factory. We have the typical golf tournaments and whatnot. And most recently, we had the World Aquatic Festival, which is for the first time in Egypt. We've hosted 2 World Cups and a World Cup qualifier. And so we had beach water polo. And luckily for us, the Egyptian team got second place, which was incredible. First time in history. And they go play in the World Cup in Bali in August. Oh, okay. So we're pretty keen on the sports angle and the music angle and all sorts of other fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought I didn't know about the whole Dire Straits experience thing. That sounds so cool. Did you went to this? Yeah,
that was incredible.
Yeah,
it was one hell of a show. And they played, all the classics.
Money for Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
It was
I can just imagine them being on a stage. You're sat there with your orange juice, and the sun's going down, and there they are, just strumming away, doing their tunes.
I'll share the picture.
Please do.
I will.
This will be so cool. I'm sure it's on the socials as well, right? On your socials. We'll go through those again in a second. So when it comes to people going to Somabay, obviously people go there to go on a holiday. But I have also heard that people are moving to live in Somabay. Is that true?
Yeah. This all started around 2014, In the beginning, we just had like 22 homeowners. I think now we've got over 1,800.
Wow.
So it's happening. I think people want sort of a laid-back destination, easygoing.
No traffic.
Nothing.
No beeping.
And also, we don't really have a lot of chilled destinations. And so, you can put your flip-flops on and just walk down to the beach with your family or on your own and have a good time. I think that's it. The other thing, because we've got that incredible beach and we're so lucky, I think we're the only ones on the Red Sea who have it. It sort of brings the Sahel vibe to the Red Sea, but it's all year round. It's not just 6 weeks, so that's cool.
Yeah. And it's more genuine. Can I say that?
Yeah.
I feel like it's
Thank
more
you. Thank you.
more genuine than I have been to the North Coast. It is amazing, but I'm going to be honest with you. Down south, Red Sea, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a much more me. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I can be myself rather than if you go up north, you have to like pretend to be someone else, I guess.
Yeah.
That's from personal experience. Before I start getting messages all about that. So I mean, you've got. The perfect life by the beach. You've got luxurious and top-notch homes, full facilities as well. So you've got education for kids in Somabay.
Yeah, well, we've opened up a nursery with Compass,
Okay.
the one here in Mahdi.
Yeah.
So they've got a very interesting educational system that started a couple of years ago. We're also working on a school with GEMS. So we want to bring international education to the destination. I think the key thing with the Red Sea, what will really help it evolve, is when you get those services. So good education, good healthcare. You get the basics of life, and then the rest people will come and enjoy, yeah?
Yeah, of course. Now, are you okay to stick around a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm going to play a song from the Pussycat Dolls, and then after that, I've got so many more questions.
Hit music for Egypt. Nile FM.
It's brand new music to Egypt's number one for hit music, 104.2 Nile FM. That's Rudimental, Charlotte Plank, Vibe Chemistry, and Dancing is Healing. And actually, that brings me on to something else that we'll discuss in a second with our special guest today, who is the CEO of Somabay. He is the amazing Ibrahim El Missiri. Hello.
Hello.
We've just had such great conversations off air. I wish we could just like talk non-stop. So
Thanks, man.
we've been talking about the diving, about all the festivals and things that you've got coming up, about moving to Somabay, and we're going to touch on the sustainability as well, because that is an important element of when anyone travels anywhere. You know, you want to feel guilt-free, as it were.
Yeah.
So you want to tell us all about that. But I have a question I want to ask you.
Okay.
Now, you said that you're a master diver. Mm-hmm. Does that mean you can teach other people?
No, I can assist with teaching and I can guide.
But if we were two friends
Yeah.
and we were in Somabay,
Yeah.
and I knew the basics of diving, but you were a master diver, you could effectively...
Can take you along. I'll take care of you.
Is that... That's not what I was getting to, but this just sounds... And you were telling me you dived in the UK.
Yeah, I dived in the UK, I dived in Italy, I dived in all sorts of places.
You're making it sound better now, but originally when you were like, dived in the UK, and I was thinking, why? Why? It's cold there. There's nothing to see.
Well, because I used to work in London, and I also worked part-time in a place called London Scuba at the time. This was like a couple of decades ago. It's a long time ago. And basically, we used to teach people there, and then they come to the Red Sea for their open water. So they finish all the coursework and the pool training in the UK. But yeah, we used to dive in quarries, which is not very nice.
You can't see anything.
No, you just bump into things.
It's being in a dirty bath. Do you know what I'm saying? And then you compare that to the beauty of the Red Sea coastline, and especially around Somabay. I mean, you can't compare the two. If someone's listening to this online now and they're like, yeah, I want to go diving, Somabay is the destination where you have to do it.
Well, definitely. You know, I think, again, Egypt, we don't realize it as we grow up in Egypt and dive in Egypt, but actually we're way up there. I've dived in the Maldives, in the South China Sea, in the Philippines, everywhere. Nothing compares to Egyptian Red Sea and definitely Soma.
So if you're all right to stick around for a little bit longer, I feel like I was joking earlier when I said we should extend the show, because I've got so many questions for you. And in fact, so many people have been texting in as well saying, what an amazing manager you are. But then also other people texting in saying, do you know what? It's amazing. Somabay is literally like paradise on earth. We have to check the socials, and we'll give out the ways that anyone listening to this that's not familiar with Somabay. Where have you been? We'll tell you all about it and how you can check out more photos online for Somabay. You've been telling us some amazing things about the destination, which, do you know what? Honestly, it's Thursday. I want to go now.
Let's do it.
I'm finishing in 58 minutes. I'm off. Let's go.
You can drive, you'll do it in 4 hours, 30 minutes.
Do you have space?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah.
You
Hop in the car now.
All right. Okay, fine. All these invitations, thank you so much. Now, like I did say earlier on, it is on my destination list, and actually I was planning on going there later on this summer when my daughter comes over from Jordan. But as I said, also, Sarah Asfouri is currently there. diving. So I cannot wait for her to come back and show me all the photos and tell me all about it as well. But there is something on a more serious side that we need to cover, and that's to do with the sustainability. How are you giving back to the planet effectively after turning this beautiful area into a destination? I'm sure you want to keep on top of making sure that it is a sustainable place.
Okay. Well, look, the problem with all destinations is that they're not really sustainable. If the developer at some point stops investing, things will just slowly collapse. And what we wanted to do is, how do we make this survive for time, the test of time? And so we looked at energy. We looked at actually changing the way we do things. How do you manage waste? And actually, we've even gone to changing the grass we use, like for the golf. So we've sourced this grass from Miami, which basically is seawater resistant. So it reduces, so we can actually grow more grass, but actually use less water. And we've even had a very cool experiment where, in Egypt, tennis, for example, is all based on clay courts. We proved that actually clay courts use more water than the kind of grass that we have, which is more seawater resistant. And we've got the technology to manage the irrigation, so that's really cool. And the other thing is basically converting all the energy that we could to solar energy, which we've done. The maximum is 18%, that's the truth. And we did that.
Excellent. And we'll be touching a little bit more on this, because also you've got about your golf courses and also accessibility for a greener environment, plus beach cleanups. Now, this is important, and we'll talk all about that next.
Hit music for Egypt. Nile FM.
I know that every time I say this, I'm kind of looking at you for your authentication of that was a
reassurance. Reassurance.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Ibrahim is the CEO of Somabay, and we have just had such a blast talking about all these different things to do with not only Somabay, but surrounding it and what's inspired it, and actually it as a destination, not just for a holiday, but also to live at. But there is, obviously, with everything, the sensible side of things that everyone has to take into consideration. And that is, we need to look after our planet, because if we don't, it's not going to be here for much longer. Yeah. So tell me more about the sustainability. You've already told me about the clay and the tennis courts and things, but you said something very interesting about grass. It's the only one with real grass.
Well, yeah, it's like I think we've got probably the only lawn tennis courts in Egypt. So one day, hopefully, we'll host like pre-Wimbledon training camps and tournaments. And what we went about was to prove that actually having a grass surface, if you've got the right type of grass and the right technology, then it will actually consume less water than a clay court, which you just sprinkle, with a hose pipe. So we've got it's a tongue twister. So it's called Paspalum Platinum Pure Dynasty.
Nice.
That's the kind of breed of grass that we've got.
Can you say it again?
Paspalum Platinum Pure Dynasty.
Okay, and now spell it for me.
It's like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh, well, look at you and your tongue twisters. You can do those.
Yeah.
This is so good, and it's very eye-opening as well. And people have been actually getting in contact as well. Mustafa says Somabay is full of amazing activities, and it's a beautiful place as well. We'll get to the activities in a second. This message has come through from Sameh, who says diving in summer is so much better than Italy. Ibrahim, that's a note to you.
Well, yeah, I when I was working in London and doing the diving there, I used to go to Italy a lot. I actually dived in Portofino, but nothing beats the Red Sea in general, and Soma in specific, just because of our pure location. You'd go on a diving safari boat to go to one of those remote islands in Egypt, like the Brother Islands or whatnot. And the nice thing in Soma, you just basically walk on the beach and you just jump in. And that's really an incredible experience. I haven't seen that anywhere in the world. Another message that,
oh, wow, this is a massive long message. Okay, so where do I start? Somabay is so amazing. Now, this message has come through from Lena, and she goes on to say, we often go over there. It's our second home. If it's not 5 hours driving from Cairo, then we'd be there every single weekend. You have the golf course, which is absolutely incredible. Go-karts, water park in the Sheraton as well. Windsurfing. You can take a trip on a boat. And yes, the best thing is diving. The reef is so amazing. It's never tiring over there. And the Sobar services, they have the best food and drinks. They've got the best chef. Somabay is definitely our favourite place in Egypt. We're absolutely in love with it.
That's really cool. That's really cool to hear.
There's nothing you can really add to that. I mean, when people give this sort of recommendation and word of mouth and stuff like that, this is just like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Somabay, is it the sort of place where you go and you just relax and chill, or do you actually have other things that people can do there as well? For example, you've got beauty and fun. What kind of activities will you be having for the Eid al-Adha?
Well, we've partnered with Omar Samra, the first Egyptian to climb Everest, and he's got Wild Guanabana, and they do those summer camps for kids. So they learn all the outdoor skills. It's something we've really missed: how to go camping, pitch a tent, how to build a raft, and on all these kinds of activities. So that's really cool. Towards September, we've got the Solasi Festival, which is more about wellness, yoga. So people come for different reasons, and we've got activities going all around, and hopefully we're going to have a music festival also in winter, as we normally do. So,
and you have the PR Narrative Summit as well.
Yes, that's hitting our shores on the 21st to the 23rd. So it's really cool. It's coming back to Egypt. It's been because of COVID, there's a hiatus, and we've got some great speakers. Ben Elliott, founder of Quintessentially, is coming. We've got Mohammed Mansour, Rawia Mansour. We've got Ahmed Suidi. So we've got, I'm afraid I'm forgetting all the other names, but it's going to be incredible. We need to change the narrative on Egypt. It's been, with the current climate, it's a bit negative. And I think, we're resilient. We've been around for a long time, 7,000 years. I'm sure we're going to work through this.
Exactly. All right, so we'll talk more about that very soon. And it is fine. There's a place where all the information is kept, because there's so much of it as well. And we'll tell you where you can find that very soon. Let's continue with this. This is Joy and Take Things for Granted. Something that you shouldn't ever do. It's 9:22. This is Nile FM.
Hit music for Egypt. Nile FM.
With my special guest, Ibrahim El Missiri.
The best.
Yeah. See,
this time around, you got it.
See, it's becoming natural, whereas before it was a little bit more forced, because I wanted to make sure, the pressure. Yeah. Now, Ibrahim is the CEO of Somabay, and we've had a very interesting conversation about SBT, as I've decided to call it, which is Somabay time.
Yeah.
What is that, please?
We have our own time zone.
In Somabay?
Yeah. We don't conform to normal Egyptian time.
Okay.
So, well, basically, the idea is very simple. Why should we? We're just a nice destination down south. And so what we want to do is people have more fun. So we extend the day. So we shift the clock to give you the maximum amount of daylight hours, and you can have more fun and, swim, eat, drink. And and that's it. So it's,
how does this work exactly? So let's say like at 3 o'clock, the clock jumps forwards and says now it's 7 o'clock. So then you get longer hours during the day.
So if it's 3 o'clock in Egypt, so we would say, well, it's 2, so you'd have a longer day. Yeah.
Okay, so you jump back. All right. Okay, I'm intrigued. I want to check this out now.
But right now, it's sort of matching with the summertime in Egypt, because the day is long enough. But in winter, usually that's when there's a gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Not an official thing, though, is it?
No, it's not an official thing. It could confuse a few people with the flights, but we do it.
Oh, yeah, we have to stick to the norms for the flights and stuff like that. Now, you've told us so much stuff about Somabay, about what it is, about it as a destination, how it's sustainable, whether it's a place where people just visit or move to. But there's so much more. There's always so much more. And the best thing to do is to stay in touch and up to date with everything that's happening in Somabay is probably the Instagrams, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a few of those. There's at Somabay Red Sea, at Somabay Holidays, at discover.somabay, and you've also got an account as well, right?
Yeah.
So at my_Soma_life.
Yeah.
So talk me through this.
Well, basically, I thought there's so much happening, and you go through work every day, and you're doing all sorts of bits and pieces, and actually I thought it's not too bad. People need to see what's happening behind the scenes. They only sort of see the nice, fluffy stuff, but there's so many activities and things that are going on, and so I decided to start doing that like a year ago.
It's
and
like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm now looking you up actually right now to follow you. There you go.
I just posted us.
Follow. Oh, you did? Oh, you did? Okay, yeah, good. Okay, so I'm now following you on that. Thank you so much for coming in. I mean, it's not. It doesn't feel like we've had an official talk. It feels like we've become friends. But not only that, you've told me so much more about Somabay as a destination, but also as a resort and everything. It just makes me want to go there even more now.
Well, thanks for that. I've really enjoyed it, and you should. And I just want to quickly. I really want to thank my team. They've been the superstars who make it happen. And they make Somabay great, make me look good. But it's actually their work. And definitely, I want to thank my family and kids, Mustafa and Sina, who are listening up, and my wife, who keeps me in check, Marwa.
They're good at that.
Yeah. And Mary, very important.
Now, we do have quite a few messages, so I'm going to try and address those to you whilst we play a track, if that's all right, because we're going to run out of time otherwise. But let's continue with Kim Petras and Nicki Minaj, Alone. It's next.